everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for today. Divine Dabblings with
Hair Trigger Boy.
I know, and me, Banshee. For all the times I've said the opening the same exact way, you'd think you'd know by now to wait to say the welcome. Oh, touched a nerve even as the show begins. Stand by. Stand by. All right. I hope everybody is doing well. This is the 2024
USA Predictions.
USA Predictions. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to cover about 6 areas we feel are important in the U.S. in the year ahead.
What are those 6 areas?
Economy, elections, Donald Trump, political divide / civil war, justice / Supreme Court, and weather / climate.
So we're just going to pull 3 cards for each of these and have at it.
And have at it. And yes, I am shuffling first for this one. And to Mr. O to shuffle. Using the Tarot Illuma for this reading. And the Tarot Illuma is written and designed by Kalina Lux. Okay, we're tackling the economy first. Let's see what's going on. It's the 2 of Swords upright. It's the 10 of Wands upright. And it's the King of Wands reversed. Interesting here.
Okay.
Well, I think there's some struggles with the 10 of Wands in the economy for the U.S. this year. You know, maybe struggling for more growth or keeping inflation in check. But rest assured, this is election year, so people are going to do their darndest, you know, in power to either make or break the economy. We got to remember that Donald, for example, the former president who is running again for president, Donald Trump, has said he wants to make Biden look like Herbert Hoover. So clearly there are people who are our elected officials who should have our best interests at heart, are trying to undermine the economy for their own political gain. But hey, Democrats, Republicans, they all play this game. I'm going to say that.
This suggests to me that, of course, as it is an election year, like Banshee mentions, a lot of times during those election years, we're always hearing, oh, we have to do something about Social Security. It's going to go insolvent. It's not, you know, it's too much of a burden on the taxpayer. But of course, there's 2 sides to every story, and most actual economists say that there are no stresses on the economy because of Social Security.
Right. I feel, well, Social Security is very specific, but that's a good point. I feel here that there's going to be burdens on people are always going to bring up the weaknesses during an election year. While meanwhile, the people who are running the economy at the moment, or the President Biden, would want to highlight what he's done. And I really feel here this 2 of Swords is an interesting card here. I almost feel like things are going to remain stable this year. And there's not going to be major fluctuations up or down with the markets. Now there may be some outside factors, like I said, that are going to try to undermine things internally and externally, because we know that things that happen in the world can affect our economy. For example, the shipping issue in the Gaza right now.
I think that's a good point. I think there is a lot of stability for the economy indicated with that. But I feel like this is some sort of provocateur
Yes.
personality or situation. This is somebody who is a malcontent and or also clearly maybe unscrupulous.
Maybe it's more than one person. Maybe it's
Right.
leaders. Because, for example, we can't seem to get a Congress who's willing to fund the U.S. economy. And so the thing is, if that goes down, hey, stock markets, businesses, people's pocketbooks, a lot of things suffer. So, I see what he's saying here, but it could be more than one person. It could be a faction of people. And yeah, it sounds like I'm picking sides here, but, I just have to look at what's been happening right now.
So now, obviously, something that's probably everyone's interested in for the U.S. for 2024 is elections.
How is it going to turn out? And when we did our world predictions, we did 3 cards for that: the focus, the challenge, and the opportunity. And I think we both kind of saw it as a potential there was going to be voter apathy this year, and a lot of apathy about making change happen and positive moves. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what this is going to say. Right? Okay.
The Hierophant reversed.
Let's throw them all out there.
The Seven of Cups reversed. The Devil, here known as the Adversary, reversed.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
I'm not sure what to make of all of this. Is there a savior here? I mean, when I see the Hierophant reversed, I look at, could we look at radicals taking over the government, whether they're leftist or rightist? Do we look at that? The Hierophant here. Do we look at people thinking outside of their boxes when they're voting? This is what I'm wondering here. That people are not going to maybe necessarily stay in their silos and will vote, outside of the box.
Right. I feel that's the potential for something really unconventional.
Could it be a third party?
A third party, a write-in, somebody who just also is, in that sense of unconventional, highly charismatic.
We're definitely going to make a choice. We're going to make a choice. And, it's interesting to me because this is saying that, we are picking from a number of options. I wonder if truly there is going to be more on the ballot than just, available than just the 2 parties, that there may be a third party that gets some leverage here.
Third parties have never won,
and they may not, but they may decide
on
the
occasion
choice.
They have come really close to having some, and only 1 or 2 occasions of having a closer margin. But do they end up serving as spoilers? I've of the opinion that people should feel free to vote their conscience, but American elections aren't really geared for that.
The Devil reversed, though.
Once again, it's sort of talking about breaking the mold, breaking out of a situation where maybe you felt you had no choices. Maybe you felt you were going to just be more or less having to go along to get along or whatever.
Well, and also maybe evil forces will be defeated. I like that idea, but depends on who you think is the evil force, of course, because that's part of the problem we'll tackle later with the political divide. We tend to demonize each other. Maybe there'll be some liberation and freedom from that. you know?
That's another meaning of the card.
That's another meaning of the card. So, wow. I think elections are going to be very pivotal. And I do think that maybe, this could indicate, hey, some Democrats might vote independent, some independents might vote Democrat, some Republicans might leave and vote Democrat or in for a third party. You just don't know. I do think there's definitely some interesting energy here for change or for some radical moves.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Drama City.
So now back to your deal.
That's why I wanted to use the Pope Tarot.
I see.
All right. Well,
And-
speaking of drama, we're on Donald Trump. And why did I choose Donald Trump? Because he is his own topic. And when you think about it, he's got so many trials going on. He's trying to run for the presidency. We don't know whether he's allowed to run for the presidency, the 14th Amendment issue. So we thought we would look at what is going on in his world going forward in 2024.
And with all of our readings everywhere, we always want to mention that, of course, tarot is a snapshot in time. We are here mostly to entertain you, and we do hope we give you something to think about and something to consider that maybe is positive for your life. But we're not legally allowed to give certain kinds of advice, most kinds of advice. We can tell you whether or not you should see a doctor for a particular thing or a lawyer.
We may advise that the cards say so, but the bottom line is we always say to refer to the professionals. So clearly these are tarot predictions. They are for fun and entertainment, and we just see how things evolve. And it's funny he picked this reading to give that.
Yes, I want to shuffle.
Okay.
Eeny, beeny, chilly, weeny.
So Donald Trump. Let's see what's going on in his world, for better or worse. I'm going to be very objective here.
What at least our cards tell us.
The first card is the Sun reversed. The second card is the King of Coins. And the third card is Death.
Wow! You saw it here first.
Well, I'm going to be open and honest about this. Some of these cards don't look bad for Mr. Trump. There might be some things that go against him, but that, he's either going to act like they are unimportant or don't affect him, don't faze him. He's going to keep on being who he is and forging towards his victory.
The Sun reversed for Donald Trump means maybe minor annoyances, means maybe he feels he succeeded enough.
I tend to think that I wonder here. Now, we know there's been a lot of serious economic things that have hit him lately. What with the E. Jean Carroll trial being decided in an $83 million. But he's appealing all of this. So it seems as though, I also look at this and wonder if some court cases will be delayed. I also wonder if this means that the 14th Amendment thing will either be marginalized towards a state-by-state decision by the Supreme Court, indicating, well, states have to decide this for themselves, or the Supreme Court will decide in his favor and he'll be on the ballot after all. It just seems like some of this stuff is not going to come down and phase him this year. And as we know, in Florida, there's many delays going on with getting the the classified document trial going.
Maybe the Sun reversed means for Donald Trump, he's not going to go to jail this year.
There you go. And with the King of Coins, obviously financial things are on his mind, and keeping it together and showing his wealth, showing his worth, showing how successful he is. That's kind of what this card is about. But I'm going to bring that up with the Death card in just a moment.
The King of Coins just really articulates the idea that he is in charge. and that he is really, one of the wealthiest people in the world, one of the people in the world with the most influence.
And I want to think here, when I look at death, I really think death is a spoiler here for both of these, okay? In the sense that, something really needs to change here and it needs to move forward, it needs to change. Change is important. And the thing is, too, what could this be saying is that maybe everything is fine this year, but change is coming. Change is coming. In other words, maybe things won't be this rosy. Maybe things won't be delayed. Maybe things won't be put off as long as he hopes for. Change is coming. And when I look at this card here with his financial empire, change is coming. And it may be the end of, the way things have been and something new happening. And those changes, usually generally are good, but are they good for him or are they good for America? Or are they good for our legal and justice system? That's to be determined.
Well,
I'm keeping this very unbiased.
This reading is not necessarily a linear reading. This isn't like the first 4 months,
right.
the next, etc.
No.
So, but having said that, this could imply to me that towards the end of the year 2024 is when the biggest changes are coming. And of course, that's when the election itself is coming. If, in fact, other things haven't made determinations in most of these legal cases against him.
Wow.
Right.
That's pretty heavy stuff here. Okay. Good luck with that, Mr. Trump. Political divide, civil war. Civil war has come up numerous times. There have been some states off and on that have talked about seceding from. There's even parts of states that want to secede from a state, like California is kind of divided that way. But it's been talked about more because now we have the border issue in Texas, and the Supreme Court has just ruled against Texas as far as controlling some access of some areas of the border control go. And Texas is defying the Supreme Court and not wanting to cooperate with the U.S. government and let the U.S. government control the borders as is their right. And so there's also talk that some other states are willing to send their National Guard to stand with Texas's National Guard against the U.S. government.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The prescription for a civil war.
Yeah. And of course, other people are talking about this anyway. So the MAGA in the Republican Party. So let's see where things are heading with our political divide.
On the other hand, is it just a big publicity stunt to get interest in voting?
Will things get better? Will things get worse? Let's take a look. Our first card is the Queen of Swords upright. Wow. Our second card is the Star reversed. Our third card, the Tower reversed.
Holy cow.
Well, I don't want to be a fearmonger, and like he said, remember, this is just a tarot reading here. But I think a lot hinges on people doing the right thing, making the right judgments and decisions, and that are good for all, not just for some, for all. And following the rule of law, I think, is critical here, In a sense, I feel Queen of Swords aligns with justice in a lot of ways. But because she has to make objective decisions that are not just good for some, but good for all, and take all sides into account. And I think as far as the political divide and civil war, this whole talk about civil war goes, it's people choosing sides, and it's people not willing to work together and to work under the precepts that this country has been founded on.
Well, I liked what you said about, that you see the Queen of Swords, but you also see a sense of justice. I do normally too, but when I laid that card down, the first image that came to me was Lady Liberty.
Oh.
And of course, Lady Liberty is something that is not necessarily claimed by pagans or by Christians. You know, Lady Liberty could be a monotheistic as well as a polytheistic construct. I know Lady Liberty from groups that try to work for human rights, civil rights with, you know, any number of diversities.
But didn't Lady Liberty come from France?
True.
Okay.
True. So what I really want to say is that this is going to be a focus or an idea that's here, is that we will have this question put forth to us. Do we want a country that's free with liberty for all? Or do we just want it for some?
And are we going to be hard-edged? Are we all going to dig in like the political divide to our, you know, to our truths rather than trying to find the truth that brings us all together as a nation? The star here is indicating a lot of pessimism. Everybody is pessimistic. Whatever side you are on, you know, you are feeling like there's no hope here with the union. There's no hope of pulling us together. We are stuck in this cloud of pessimism, and instead of trying to find our way out of it, it seems as though we are deepening it.
I would take it further and say it's a loss of faith. It's a loss of faith in what Lady Liberty, Justice, Queen of Swords may be representing. A country that is united in not only its idea of liberty for all, but also justice for all.
And then we have the tower reversed. And, you know, I can't stress enough not wanting to see this in this reading here, because what it really indicates is we've learned nothing. We've learned nothing from what we have been going through here as a nation. And, you know, let's just say the left has not understood how to deal with people on the other political side of the aisle. I believe they've tried. I believe some people have tried. I believe in Congress they've tried to reach agreements and have actually done so. But, you know, I think both sides have not learned their lessons well. Number one, the left is always so, you know, or I will say Democrats, maybe not the left. Democrats are always so, you know, willing to compromise with the other side, and the other side has never proved to give ground, never wanted to agree. We barely got a deal to fund the government till the end of the year last year, and they started to break away from that already, you know, from the other side, and so of the aisle. And so, you know, we aren't learning our lessons, and the other side of the aisle is not either. They're forgetting how to govern. That I just firmly believe that. They're forgetting that government is two-sided. You know, when they were in power, they wanted the right to be able to, you know, hire Supreme Court or to elect Supreme Court justices. They wanted the right to, you know, control healthcare and other things, and they went for it. And now with Democrats controlling the Senate and, you know, the presidency, they don't want to, you know, give fair ground here and at least compromise some of their difficult stands to keep government functioning in a healthy manner.
Well, when it comes to the tower, whether reversed or not, there's always an elephant in the tower. And that elephant has a name that starts with E, and that name is ego. And ego is what the problem is with most tower issues. People feeling too prideful about their way. And I think we've explained that in terms of either, you know, people on the more Democrat or left side, or people on the more Republican or right side. Each dig into their issues and feel they're totally right, even if they seem to just be playing a role.
And they're willing. I think both sides, like, I think one side, the star fits more than the other. I truly feel here, well, maybe not. I think there's people on both sides who truly feel we're going for a fall. There's no hope but civil war. They have lost hope. They have lost hope in keeping the union together. So they're literally anticipating the breakup rather than trying to really stem this in some way. You know, don't you feel that? And I can't stress enough here that lessons have to be learned on both sides of this. And let's not rule out the media's role here. You know, if we talk about lessons, where are we getting our information from? All of us, you know, where are we getting it from? And, you know, I feel like, too, the sources that we are getting it from are not necessarily being honest partners. Whether you are talking about the corporate media, whether you are talking about people with their own political ideologies trying to manipulate fact, or whether you're talking about outside influences from other nations that want to see us fall.
Bam.
Bam, bam. All right. We are on, second from the last category here, justice and the Supreme Court. So I'm sure the Supreme Court is going to have some real major decisions on their hand. And already they've kind of been turfing some decisions to the side, like, well, we're going to let this appeals court thing stand. Or, well, we're not going to take this case. You know, they've been standing down on some things I really felt that they should tackle. So with some of the things coming up, like the important can Trump be put on the ballot in every state issue, you know, is he an insurrectionist or not? That's going to be a biggie coming up. Isn't it the anti-abortion drug mifepristone? That is going to be up for a big vote as well. And there's a number of things on their plate, possibly with voting rights and other things that could affect us all. But let's look at the justice system too, because right now our entire justice system has been under attack. People are attacking the FBI, they're attacking law enforcement from both sides. You know, they're attacking our court systems. It's a big mess.
It's a delicious thought to consider that some of this is astrological. The Pluto in Aquarius stuff promotes the idea of big revolutionary things happening. It hasn't happened since, you know, approximately the French and American revolutions. So who knows? You know, is this stuff all being directed by, you know, planetary energies?
Or aliens. I just had to throw that out there. All right. Justice Supreme Court. The devil reversed. The magician upright. The page of coins reversed. Well, personally, when I look at this is, you know, I feel here that our justice legal system, you know, does need monitoring from time to time. They can go off. There can be bad actors. There can be bad players here for sure. There can certainly be influenced by political operatives and stuff. But we have to have some perspective here, and we have to have some order in the chaos. And I feel here with the magician upright, you know, this is saying our legal system is our tools to, you know, break through some of the stuff that we've been facing, to break free from some of the things that have been restricting and binding us. You know, I just feel here that we have to go by what our justice system is doing. And yeah, sure, there's protests, there's ways to enact change in our legal systems through elections of the right people who will nominate people that look after our interests or our political interests. But I feel here there needs to be order in the chaos, and the magician here says that they're the ones who can establish that. And rules and laws are the, you know, we've always been a country of laws, a nation of law and order. And so that can set us free, actually. It doesn't have to restrict or bind us. It can set us free.
In a certain way, it seems like there is a lot of viewing on this, the idea that we need to make some changes here. We need to stop from from the postures we've taken and sort of release a grip that maybe was paralyzing or holding us. And maybe that is, of course, finding our will, that maybe collectively people have started to find their will and realize that the Supreme Court was kind of not really working for us, was really, subverting us. And so with this sense of will and power there, we are trying to overturn that.
You know what? Can I just interject one thing here? I have a feeling that the Supreme Court is going to feel freer to make some decisions than we think. I don't know if it has to do with the 14th Amendment issue, but they also have the issue, for example, of is a president immune to do whatever they want as president of the United States? I think they're going to find their hands free to make the decision that is appropriate for a nation of laws.
That's really interesting.
I
like that.
feel
I think that's a real interesting thing here.
Let's go there.
This one kind of puzzles me because I sort of feel like this is possibly about the role of money.
Yes,
in the court,
in the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bam, bam! I was just thinking.
But
that.
I'm not exactly sure what it means. Does it mean that maybe the role of money may become murkier, or does it mean that it may just sort of fall away, not be as hard to see where the connections are?
I think in a sense it's saying that this is going to be an issue for the Supreme Court this year. We may even notice whether it's in a majority decision or in a minority rebuttal to the decision, how some people's stands might be influenced by power and money and greed. And so, we've already seen some things come out about certain Supreme Court justices and the money they're taking from, rich, well-to-do benefactors. Yeah, let's just spit it out there. And how it may influence the way they vote. And so there may be more that comes out about that in this year. And it may not be pretty.
All right.
Wow.
So finally, we are at probably really one of the top 2 or 3 of the most important matters facing us in any year, and that is, of course, weather, climate change issues.
My goodness, I have seen so many weather things that, they keep saying, well, it's a 1,000-year thing. Well, it's a 1,000-year thing. Well, it's a 1,000-year thing. And it's happening in the same communities, like in California, etc. No, this is a new reality. And we have to face the fact that our planet is suffering right now. And they're not going to suffer. The planet is not going to suffer alone. So let's see what's going on with climate and weather, and if maybe some positive changes will not be starting to occur. I mean, in our mindset towards that, if that comes up here in the cards. Were you supposed to shuffle first?
Yes.
And shuffle and give them back. It's okay. It's an important topic. It deserves a good shuffle. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it. Shuffle. I suppose I could have just cut them, but we'll give it a couple shuffles here.
And of course, there's also going to be a TFT World Predictions. I think we're going to put out the USA predictions first. Not sure when you'll be seeing this, but then watch for the World Predictions shortly afterwards. Day or two, maybe.
All right, weather and climate. Be kind, Mother Nature. Be kind.
And it's the 4 of Swords.
Oh, man.
Reversed.
I'm not sure I like it. Let's put them all out. We'll explain.
The Child of Wands, that would be the page right of Wands. And the Fool. These latter 2 are upright, Page of Wands and Fool.
Very interesting. I could go a couple of different ways on this. There are some very, there's positive cards here. Even this one arguably is a positive card. But when that first got drawn, I thought to myself, it's going to be a very active year. It's going to
Okay.
be a very active year
Okay.
weather-wise. However, I do feel like maybe some healing might occur because maybe there's going to be, you know, maybe with this increased activity, there's going to be more awareness and more people coming around to the fact that whatever the case may be, we have to make some major changes in order to mitigate this. And whether it is actually trying to tackle global warming more collectively, or whether this is about better preparation for what we are going to face going forward, I think that's what this is about.
Climate-related emergencies are happening more and more. You know, we're hearing about at least a couple of ice sheets that have totally collapsed or are on the verge of collapsing into the South American area off of the coast towards Antarctica. These are bad things.
For us as well,
But
yes. It's
the
not just that area.
the return of something suggested by the Four Swords could be the return to people finally realizing they can't avoid this any longer. It could be that. It could also just be saying too that maybe there might be a respite due to offsetting by some other storm conditions. You know, every couple of years there's a whole Nino or Nina thing. Sometimes these things may possibly offset some of that, but not forever, of course. And
So with this card, I see two things as well. I see that there could be the beginning of a dialogue. There could be a beginning of some good news that people are finally starting to get the message that something has to change here, that we have to be more proactive than reactive in whatever we are doing. But if I speak about the weather patterns in and of themselves, I feel like we could see something new this year. And it may not be good, but it's something new that may develop in weather patterns here. And I wonder if it has, because it is a wand and it's fire, I wonder if it does have to do with the heating up of the planet or something to do with the summer months.
yeah, I can't see anything beyond that. I think those are really good ideas there too, that, you know, it is possible we receive information, but maybe the information we receive tells us, well, it's really going to kick in, you know.
I wonder too if we aren't going to be dealing with more drought this year. You know, I mean, I know this is upright. Page of Wands is about growth. So I do feel here we're going to try to do some things to mitigate damage, you know, as best we can or to prepare better. But, you know, I do feel that Mother Nature does have some plans for us as well. And the Fool upright, these are all upright cards. There's, to me, some risks. There's some calculated risks that we face this year in regards to climate. Are we up for the challenge? Are we up to face this? Are we up to possibly think outside the box to do things differently that could either stem off some of this stuff or make better changes for the future so we don't have to keep facing, you know, these kind of trials and tribulations over and over again?
Some versions of the Fool say that we have to kind of place our hands in place ourselves in the hands of fate,
and
allow things to happen.
Right.
So is this saying like maybe there is something unexpected that could happen, that because the planet is a living organism, maybe there is a fail-safe mode that kicks in at some point. But if it does kick in, it's only kicking in to save itself, not necessarily us.
Boy, lots to think about here, definitely, with this combination of cards. I don't want to be a doomsayer. I want to hope that maybe there'll be some new initiatives. Maybe we'll think outside the box and try to take, you know, try to do something uniquely different. But,
some scientists think there are ways that at least in the next generation or so, 20, 30 years, we might be able to protect ourselves by having more reliance on alternatives, energies, if we could get away from fossil fuel, but also too trying to find ways to build shielding. Maybe that means underground, maybe that means other things.
And you know, absolutely right here, you know, with this Child of Wands, perhaps there's going to be some new advances that could, you know, alleviate some of the things that we're polluting our environment or destroying our atmospheres with, and changing the climate. hey, anything at this point would be hopeful. And I don't want to be a total naysayer here, but I was trying to cover what I felt might be going on weather-wise and what might be going on with our thinking towards global warming, climate change, etc., and how we might move on this as a nation. Well, good luck, everybody, with 2024. Wow, let's hope we can avoid this whole ridiculous talk of how we're all going to be better off if there's a civil war in this country. Let's hope we can stem this. Let's hope we can make some strides with the political divide, even though it does not look promising. And I just wish everybody a better year in 2024. At least the economy looks stable. So good luck, everybody. Anything to add, Mr. O?
No, the economy always looks stable because there's always a way to make money. There just isn't a way to do anything else.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great year ahead. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.